Hey guys, once again you are tuned in to the It's My Money podcast. Now I want to share some story about my background. I was born and raised in this place called Subang Jaya. So if you are wondering, no, I don't have Gaya. If you have no idea about the reference, here it is.
Budak Subang Jaya memang ada gaya macam hari-hari, hari raya.
So yeah, some of you may think that wow, you're a rich kid, grow up in such a nice neighborhood. But history is that my parents bought the place. They say it was 100,000 back in the days. That was like 30 years ago. Then they said that 30 years ago in front of my house, it was actually an oil palm estate. Then back in the days, nobody wants to stay in Subang Jaya because because those days KLIA didn't exist yet, and all international flights will go through Subang Airport. And you know what people always say those days? They are like, oh no, what if the plane fell down? Then my home gone, then I will die. But over the past 3 years, there was no such incident that happened. So yeah, we were grateful. We are lucky and grateful for that. So, admittedly, I'm not rich. I don't born rich, and I consider myself to be middle class, middle income. If you put in the income pyramid, I will be somewhere inside the M40 category. And I would say that it's actually a good thing to be in a middle class, right? Of course, being T20 is you can have a lot of things that you can dream of, but I would say starting in middle class is not that bad as well. The thing about being middle class is that you live comfortably throughout your childhood and your school days. You don't need to worry about not having food on the table. You don't need to worry about not having money to see a doctor when you're sick. But that being said, I don't get a lot of extra from there. Like, I don't get overseas trips when I was a kid. I don't get a PlayStation, unfortunately, and I don't get a Monopoly. Right? I don't know why. As a child, I always wanted a Monopoly, but I don't get it. The point about this is that I'm living comfortably, but I don't really get what I want. Right? So, echoing the previous episode, I get what I need, but I don't get what I want. I mean, I can get what I want, but I just need to ask for it and I need to justify to my parents, oh, why do I want that thing? Why they need to spend that money on that thing that you don't need to use forever. But, coming back to my upbringing, so after I finished school, of course, I went to government school because it's free. Then eventually I went to Sunway to do my ICAW. Now you might thinking, wow, Sunway, you're damn rich, right? No, I get a scholarship. All right. Honestly speaking, if I don't have a scholarship, I can't even go into Sunday. And because the course doesn't permit a loan, because it's a professional paper, you can't get a PTPTN loan for that. So actually, honestly, if I didn't have the scholarship, I'll probably go to government school already. All right, because I don't have the money. So that also kind of forced me to be more hardworking back in school so it can secure my scholarship to do my ICAW. So yeah, I worked hard to secure my scholarship. Then that brings me where I am today. Still middle class, not rich yet. All right. So but if I were to born in a T20 family, then probably my tertiary education, I don't need to worry about it too much. If I want to go overseas, my parents can always cover that for me. um, I can study pretty much anything I want, and I don't need to worry about dropping out because my parents can always afford it, can always pay the cost fee for me. So yeah, but being in the middle class, it taught me the hard things. All right, it taught me that things don't always come easy, and I need to work hard for it. Yeah. So why I want to share through this episode is that being middle income is actually kind of a privilege for me because I don't go hungry every day. I have my needs covered by my parents, so I can strive to get my wants. But ever since from child, because I don't always get what I want, so I have to learn how to earn it. Right, through getting good grades. So maybe my parents will give me something as a reward. So I need to earn my scholarship to go into tertiary education. Then I also need to earn a decent salary to buy what I want. So different income group may have it different. So I'm gonna assume that if I am living in poverty, then probably I struggle to eat a well balanced meal. I might not eat enough. I might be malnutrition. I might not go to school every day because I need to work to sustain my family. Then I will continue to work until I die. All right. Unless I do some drastic change to my life, then yeah, likely that will be my destiny. Then if I'm in T20, then probably I will be very grateful as well. But I might be spoiled as well, depending on how my parents raise me up. Alright, so I'll have my needs and wants easily satisfied when I was a kid. So I may or may not do well in school because, I don't know, that might be a different universe version of me. But I may do well or not well at school. Then maybe even let's say even if I don't do well, I may go overseas to pursue my tertiary education. Maybe drop out one or two courses. Then eventually maybe come back and work for my parents' company. I don't know. But basically, as a T20, I would say if you're a wealthy individual, you have more choices. All right. So if this doesn't work, then you can always make another choice because money isn't really much of a problem. But as a middle income, I need to be very considerate. Yes, I do have choices, but I have more limited choices. So what I want you to bring back with this episode is that have a reflection on what is your wealth status in the T20, M40 or B40 category. Then think to yourself, do you want to be there forever? I mean, if you're T20, then stay there forever, right? But if you're middle income or if you are B40, then if you have the will to move, then yes, do it. Think of ways on how you can improve your condition, right? For me, if I'm an M40, I want to move to T20. People always say if you want to make more money, is either you go into business or you go into sales or you go into property investment. For myself, of course, I'll be focusing on property investment somewhere in the future or near future because starting a business is not for me and sales is not for me. So yeah, property investment is the way to go. Of course, there's no right or wrong answer to whatever decisions you make because ultimately everybody is different. And as long as something works for you, then that is it for you. Alright, so with that brings us to the end of this episode. So if you like this episode, if you enjoy it or if you don't enjoy it, put some of your views and experiences in the comments below so I can learn from your experiences as well. Alright, so with that, I will see you in the next episode.